Goes.
There it
There we
is.
go.
Wait, it went
Three,
away.
two. Did it? No, it didn't. Well, it went away because we're like the countdown happened.
Oh,
So
Sure.
It's
generally it
finished.
goes 5, 4, 3, 2, and then you
yeah.
don't see it anymore. That's how it
It went
happened.
5 and then it disappeared. And I was like,
There
Mercury's
was
in
a little bit of
retrograde.
lag.
Things
There
are
was a little bit of
crazy.
lag. Exactly.
Amen.
Do it
So
again. Do it again.
yes, we're here. We're live. I can see us on YouTube. We are live on Twitch. I am trying to get us live on Facebook. It says it's starting. I'm going to trust Meta that they're doing what they're supposed to. Yes. Connecting live video. All right. We're good. All right. I think we're in. Welcome, everybody,
All
to
Awesome.
right.
Con Culture Podcast. We have not one, but two amazing guests. Two for the price of one. We got them as a steal. And so we're going to get to know them both. We have ATX Thor, Mike, and Ewyncosplay here. So we have so many questions to ask. If you have any questions for them, feel free to put it in the chat. We can see it. We're all kind of keeping an eye on it. So welcome, everyone. Here we go. First question is the one we generally start off with. We're going to start softball, then it'll escalate to like throwing haymakers at your head. And remember, one of them is going to determine whether you get to stay on the stream or not. So we'll find out.
No pressure.
So just to start off soft, we'll start with Mike, just because I love hearing your voice. It's so deep and it's just never mind. I'm going off on a tangent.
All right.
How did you get into cosplay, Mike? How did you join this world
Well,
that we're all in?
so, I mean, I always kind of liked costuming and Halloween a little bit, but never really got into it. I didn't get raised up with very much money, so we kind of had to make sometimes our own costumes and stuff. So that's how I learned how to initially sew. Um, but and I love doing theater and like one act plays and stuff like that. But I really didn't get into actual cosplay till I think it was right around the time when like the Thor movie.
Which one? The first one?
I went ahead and yeah, the very first one.
Oh, okay.
So I ended up bought the costume at like Party City or something like that, and I had to completely alter it because I am 6'5" and they just don't make costumes
you're
for
quite tall.
people my
Your Thor
height
size.
and like my broad of a build and stuff like that. So I had to completely like alter it and cut the legs off and do other stuff to it and stuff like that. So I wore that for the movie opening because I happened to find it like right before it came out, and yeah, I wore that and like took pictures and stuff with the staff there, and everyone was excited about it. Then I wore it for Halloween and then also worked for my very first con, which was Wizarding World Austin
Yes.
way back when.
Yes!
Yes.
Yes!
What year was that?
So, oh my gosh, I don't
Is that
even know what year
2019?
that was now. Before that, I think. I
It was
think
like
it might have been.
2016.
I think
16 or
maybe
17.
Oh,
15
nice.
or 16.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wizard World was awesome in Austin. It was so good. But carry on. I'm
So
sorry.
I worked there, and like I swear I. Few minutes I was stopped and like was in that area for 15 minutes while people were taking pictures and stuff like that, and pretty much from there I was kind of hooked. I was like, I love this thing. That's a Comic Con. I've only heard so much about it, and so ever since then I try to go. I would try to go to at least one Comic Con a year, and it's been slowly building up until I finally went to Comic Palooza in Houston.
That's
And
nice.
knowing that I was going to go there, that was what year was that? Um,
Who was the guest? Do you
probably
remember
I
who
think
the
almost
guests were?
7 years, 8 years ago. Say what?
Oh, okay. I was like, do you
No,
remember who
about
the
8.
guests are? We could try to guess the year.
Or, but I went there and I knew I was going to be going there, so I had actually my the leather armor I usually wear now for Thor, I had it commissioned from a friend of mine who does a lot of absolutely wonderful leather work. So I had a commission from him and wore it there, and I absolutely loved it. And I was like, all right, I can do more stuff than Thor, but Thor's going to be my main go-to though. But yeah, so pretty much.
Well, and you do Thor so well, so.
You have some resemblance to a tall
Yeah.
That's a little
Viking
bit.
male.
Very
A
Thor-like.
little bit of a Norse god build. So, what about you, Ewan? How did you get into cosplay? Did you do Thor also? Is that how you?
I did not. So I feel like this is probably true of like every cosplayer, but as a kid, but I honestly didn't even know that like cosplaying or even like Comic Cons like existed till like I was in my 20s, and it was like, hey, let's go to a Comic Con and we can dress up, and I was like, oh my god, yes. So we made costumes. We did Metal Gear Solid. Like going in, at first I was like, are other people gonna be dressed? And he's like, yeah, lots of people will dress up.
It's nerve-wracking.
Like,
I know exactly that feeling.
I do
like
too.
walking in at first, see people in costumes, and I'm like, are you sure other people dress up? He's like, just wait. And like as soon as I started seeing like other people in costumes, I feel like I lost my mind. It was like my favorite thing ever. It is still my favorite part about going to a con is seeing everybody in costumes. It's just fun, like the creativity, the cleverness, or like the real niche characters too, where you're like, oh my god, like it is so great. So I absolutely loved it. I've loved it ever since. So
That's awesome. That is two great origin stories. Now let's get to the third origin story. How did this become a dynamic duo?
At a Comic Con.
yup, kind of perfect.
Oh,
Stop! That's so
On
cute.
the
It can happen.
nose.
It can happen.
On the nose.
The hopes are real.
Tell us the story.
well, so we actually met, or actually I saw her probably about maybe 3 years prior, like meeting her again. Because I remember at a Wizard World Austin. I can remember kind of walking around myself because my ex-wife, she used to work for a vendor there who sold nerdy leggings, which we both are wearing her leggings. So you might have heard of her, the leggings lass. She's at
Stop!
Heard
Walmart.
of her.
Stop!
Yeah.
Yeah.
We literally
My closet
own.
is filled.
Yes. I literally have
So-
one of the oversized hoodies. By.
Yeah, big and
Yes.
tall
Yes.
sizes. Let's go.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was
Continue.
there.
So I was walking around the con by myself, and I remember seeing like this cute brunette girl, Doctor Who dress of
The 10th Doctor.
the 10th Doctor, and I was like, and my wife, we're both big Doctor Who fans also, so I told her, I was like, I saw this dress, like all about it, and like couldn't find her again. And then fast forward a couple years later, oh my gosh, what was it called? Alamo City Comic Con here in
Okay.
San Antonio. And I saw her and her late husband's costume. They were Rogue and Professor X, like 90s Rogue, so goth girl Rogue.
Yes.
And I hadn't ever
Let's
seen
go.
anybody cosplay that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love your costume, and like took a picture of them, and I was dressed up as Aquaman, and my ex-wife, she was Ariel dress, and so she took our picture.
We were both like, oh my gosh, your costume, and we took each other's pictures.
So later on, I was looking for pictures from the con, and I happened to see that picture, like with the tag of the con. Come and it was like, hey, I took that picture. Both of you, and we kind of just became friends after that. Like sometimes chit chat about games and costumes and stuff like that. And yeah.
So we were friends for a while, and then after my husband passed, he helped me a lot to like get through that, and also like gave me a place to stay so I could sort of get away from everything
Yeah.
and relax. And then eventually we became more than friends. So
Oh.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well,
That is
how
one
lucky
hell
that
of an
y'all
origin
found each
story.
other.
I know,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
It's the best.
That
when
is
Unlike
you
what
a
was
meet
your
them
question?
first.
Done.
It's always
You can't
good.
write that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you can't write it at all. It's always
like a
best when you're
Marvel
friends
comic.
first because then it's a different dynamic in the relationship. Like you already love being around each other, and then it just naturally evolves into this thing where you can spend all your waking hours with your significant other because you genuinely enjoy, you have similar interests.
Because you're
you have-
friends.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
'Cause it's your best
Absolutely.
friend.
It's the best. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would
And we-
recommend. I'm on. What?
Yeah. I said, and we've both been there for the other person, lowest, and
Yeah.
just as friends even, and like coming through that, and then
Just made the friendship and the relationship stronger. Whether
Yeah.
it was friendship. Yeah.
Yep. And I actually
watch-
tried to
I could
resist
watch
it
y'all
for a
look at each
while.
other
Like
for
I
hours.
know.
Me too. I literally have
Like,
full
Just
body
the
Like,
way-
chills.
we're having a
No
moment.
way. I'm here for it,
I-
guys.
I love this.
I told him like I just want to be friends, and I love our friendship, and I want us to always be friends. And he was like, okay, me too. And I was trying to I knew I recently lost my husband and everything, and I was going through a lot, and I was like, I don't want to
Yeah.
jump into something. But eventually it got to the point where I'm like, I can't not love you. I admit that I love you.
I'm just saying, when he
So,
looks
yeah.
at you like that, all 6'5" of his
I
bearded,
know,
gorgeous
big
face.
teddy
Well,
bear.
Whenever we
See,
ran into
I'm an
y'all at,
overthinker though.
it's just,
No,
no,
I
it's
gotta-
like
That's a
so.
woman thing.
Your love is
Yeah.
so palpable. Like whenever we saw y'all at GalaxyCon and we snagged the photo of y'all on Saturday with the Sailor Moon Beauty and the Beast mashup,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
you did that, and like Brittany and I were just like, oh, like it is so. but
When
it's like,
I tell
it's
you
so
it
beautiful.
looks so good on camera, I can't wait for you guys to see the video when it posts. Like I can't
Like-
wait for you guys to
I'm
see it.
looking
'Cause you-
forward to the
it's-
video.
Your
Cheers.
love
Yeah.
is so organic. You just can
Yes.
tell that it's like a meant to be thing, and I love seeing that.
Thank
Definitely
you.
my favorite
Oh.
cosplay couple.
Yes.
Brittany's feed like glitched out for me right there just for a quick second because my internet slowed down and I did not hear. You said organic, right?
Yes.
Just
I
making
said,
sure.
yeah.
Just
I
making
said
sure.
organic.
Just making sure. We're that type of show. We are.
I
Said
said
oregano.
We are not for kids, kids. So yeah,
Oregano.
no, I was just making sure. Oregano relationships, guys. Those are the best kind. Put a little seasoning
Oh,
on
yeah.
it.
Spicy.
So, Trey, do you have a question for the lovely duo?
So before we got started, Michael was showing us some awesome figurines of some of y'all's great couple cosplays. Out of all the ones y'all have done, which one is your favorite so far? That you just keep coming back to, you can't, like, you just keep wanting to wear it all the time.
Which costume?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, which
which
couple
cosplay?
cosplay do y'all like to do the most? Like, which one's the favorite?
For me, for each of us. I know for me it's Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy.
I
I
love.
did. Oh, was that what you were gonna
I-
say?
I love
There
that
we
one.
go.
Y'all
It's
nailed
Because
that
it's
one,
just,
man.
Yeah.
I love that it was like both of them sort of concepts, and so we were both just sort of working with our imagination, and it was also sort of like the first big build that we did together. Also his freaking enormous hammer is just really cool.
It's
And,
so
like-
good.
So yeah, I
Are
think
we
that
getting the
one-
hammer?
He's gonna put the
we have
hammer
to put it right
down.
here. Oh, hang on.
Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just like comically
We
big.
love a good
It is
Harley.
so.
Yes.
It's
But
Oh,
it
yeah.
looks like
good.
a hammer in his hands, though. It doesn't even
Yeah.
look comically big. It looks like
It's a
he
mallet.
just went to the hardware store and picked up a mallet. Jeez.
Yep.
6'5"? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Y'all nail that. And I love that both of y'all feel the same way about that cosplay. You both like doing it. Y'all look amazing in those photos. I think that's the
Yes.
first time I spotted y'all. Because did y'all wear that to Corpus also?
Yes.
That's where I saw
Yes.
the photo. Yeah, y'all. Wow. Chef's kiss. Jaw-droppingly good. What about Brittany? What question do you have for our dynamic duo?
Okay, so as cosplayers, we always have our next project. What's our next project for the two of you? What are you guys working on?
Oh,
We've got a couple.
yeah.
Pick one. Your
Is,
favorite, the one you're most
um,
excited about, maybe.
Well,
Gotta think about
go
it.
ahead.
So we're gonna finish updating Belle and Beast, or Sailor
Okay.
Belle and Tuxedo Beast,
So pretty.
because it's not finished yet.
It's not
There's still
finished.
there's still a lot of other stuff we've got to do to it.
The vision isn't
was-
complete. I like it.
There,
Yeah,
but there's
Yeah.
we've got more to it.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, I look
Um,
forward to that.
We've also we're gonna do Krunk and Yzma.
That one-
For the lava!
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
And then
That's awesome.
Decided yet, but we were thinking about making something for. There's a wedding in October. The Lightning Flask. And it's like you can wear costumes, and we're like, oh, maybe we'll make something.
yeah,
But we're also like,
Whatever you're
maybe we
thinking,
shouldn't
yes, the
bite
answer's
off
yes.
that much.
Bite
yeah.
it.
So we've been-
It's better
we've
to
been
choke
thinking,
on
you're like,
greatness than to chew on mediocrity, guys. Come on.
Yeah, I
You got
know.
this.
And then the other one that we are in the midst of working on as well, it's like all over the downstairs right now, is we're doing a Hufflepuff and a steampunk Ravenclaw. So I have the Ravenclaw almost finished, which is super fun. But his Hufflepuff is going to be a lot of leather work to put together for
Yeah.
his steampunk
Wow.
look. But it's going to be cool.
I bet.
But we're trying
I bet.
the Dickens on the Strand.
So we have till December. So.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That makes sense. So, Gigi, you're up next. Don't ask the final question.
No,
Just
I
ask-
have.
Yeah.
I have.
Good.
I have
Go
a
for it.
question. Okay, so y'all do so many amazing like mashups of like two different fandoms, and you bring them together. How do y'all come up with these ideas? Like, do you like? Are you like watching a show and you're like, "Hey, this would go great with this," or how do you like? What is your thought process for that? Because like, I wish I had that brain, but I don't.
Such unique costumes, always.
I think a lot of times it is when we're watching something, and either it's like a niche character or what we were watching. Oh, we were Free Guy last week, and I was like, oh, what if we did a gender bent Free Guy? And I was Free Guy, and he was yeah. I was like, that could be cool. So we added it to the ever-growing list that we have of stuff that we want
The
to do.
cosplay list.
I'm here for it. Let's go.
I love that
So-
though.
So a lot of times it come from stuff we've watched or are watching, but also then we do get inspiration from something else. Like the Sailor Belle came from a fan art that she had seen, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I really want to do that." So the only answer to Sailor Belle would be then Tuxedo Beast, and you don't really see any Tuxedo Beast even fan art out there. So I had to come up with something for myself there. But then also her Ivy came from a fan art that we kind of tweaked some, and then what do you do for Bane? Or I could try to do something else, and I was like, well, Harley and Ivy, awesome thing. I could always just do a gender bent Harley, because you see male characters gender bent for women, but you rarely see a female character gender bent as a guy.
Especially at
And
that
so-
scale, like as a big dude
Yeah.
doing it, I think adds a different dynamic. And
It
I've only ever
does. It really
seen
does.
Night Mage do stuff like that, and he looks amazing. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Night Mage, Michael
Night Mage.
Wilson. He does some gender bend ones, and he's a big
Yeah.
guy. He's like 6'3", big, broad, 200 plus pounds. So yeah, I think your size adds a whole different dynamic, and it is so cool when you do those. So
Yep.
keep doing
So-
it, good sir.
That's
Do
so true.
like that, yeah. I mean, like our Milo and Kita from Atlantis, that came from us watching the movie, and we're like,
It was like, hey, you should do
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's why we rewatched the movie. That's right.
I love that.
It
That's
usually
so fun.
is. It usually is just we watch a lot of movies and TV together. So, and this girl loves that. You know, if like she much prefers us to watch TV,
Sweet
so
fur
we can cuddle
baby.
on the couch. She gets a little upset when
Oh.
we're gaming because we're both sitting there giving attention to the mouse and keyboard, and she's like,
She's-
"Excuse me."
She's like, "Hi, I'm here. I'm right
Nothing.
here. Your
Yeah.
hands are there, but they need to be petting me."
Nice.
At all times.
So, I got a question. Outside of cosplay, what other creative outlet do each of you have? This time, I asked Mike last time first. You go first, and then Mike can fill in. What is your other creative outlet besides crafting and cosplay that you do that fills you, makes you happy, and lets you express your creative self?
Me, it would be or creative writing. I like to write stories and stuff. I've been working on a couple stories that I write with my sister. So we each like Google Doc going when we're writing this book. Or I like to write music. I definitely lose track of time when I start writing music. Like I'll forget to eat. I'll forget, everything. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, hours have passed.
It's
And
5
do you perform
a.m.
it, or do you just write it?
What'd you say?
Do you perform it, or do you just write?
A little bit of both. So sometimes it'll be just sitting at the piano playing stuff, and other times it'll be at the computer writing stuff. So kind of whatever I'm in
Do
the
you
mood
share
for.
any of it online? I've just started stalking y'all, so I don't know if you.
Oh, I have not gotten that brave yet. I think because music was sort of like that's what I went to school for. That was like my focus
Yeah.
for most of my life. So I'm much more critical of myself with that. So most of the time I'm like, oh, it's not good enough. It's not good
Nah, we need to get it out there. We need to hear you. We need to hear you in cosplay, doing what makes her happy, belting out some of her original writings. I would love.
Even
love,
if you
love to
just
hear
share
that.
it with this little group. Just share it
Yeah.
with this little group.
There's a chat now.
This will be our
If you
start
need a-
group.
Yes, if you need a cheering section to only hype up your other creative outlet, that's what that group is for. Feel free to use it anytime. We are always here to cheer
Always,
on anything
always.
that hypes you up. What about you, Mike?
Start small, yeah.
She's not done yet.
Oh, she has more. What
I
else do
draw.
I do?
Let me hear. Take a puffy. I will share this. I like to draw.
Let's go.
So
Oh my
it's in
goodness.
cosplay. So I did I don't know if you can see that. Is it
Aw.
reflecting?
It is reflecting, but when you angle, we'll figure this
There you go.
out.
So like I drew some of our cosplays, like Jack and Jelsa and our
Oh my
Harley
goodness.
and Ivy. I did like our Hogwarts houses that we like to dress up and do skits
So
with.
you can like create concept art before y'all even get to the crafting. You could already see what it's gonna look like. That is so cool.
Well, the problem is that like I'm imaginative in that way, but I don't have
Mm-hmm.
a great grasp on like how shapes and seams work. So sometimes I'll draw something that doesn't like actually.
It's not practical. Logistically,
Right.
it just won't work.
And so then Michael will be like, "Okay, we can do that, but we'll have to like make this connect," and I'll be like, "Oh."
You're like, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
I was thinking final product, not logistics. You make it happen.
Yeah. Just paint it on my body. That'll work.
Like how comic book artists draw stuff that was like, yeah, fabric doesn't fall that way.
Right.
You're
Yeah,
missing
no.
gravity and stuff.
Yeah.
No. But Kate,
The wind is a paid actor in that photo.
Yes, exactly. That reminds me of a funny Todd McFarlane thing, though. He first, when he was drawing Spawn, there was a difference in the cape, or his gauntlets and cape, from page 1 to like page 3. And a fan wrote a letter. Back in the day, you would write letters and be like, "Oh, well, why is his thing have 2 spikes on page 1, but on page 3 it has 3 spikes?" And Todd was like, "Oh, the suit's alive. That's why. It's a part of him, and it's like symbiotic. It's alive. That's why." He's like, "I totally pulled it out of my ass." That's how we got that cape that like looks alive, and he can get ridiculously creative with it. He just was like, "Yeah, it's alive."
Wow.
That's why it could defy gravity and do all that funky stuff. So yeah. But yes, do you have any more creative outlets?
Yes, Michael reminded me that I also model, which is that's another creative outlet that also sometimes includes like dressing up and stuff like that. Different kind of dress up, but yeah. So that was
Well, now we all understand why he just stares at you in awe. Because wow, what a creative person!
You do everything.
Yes.
That is so cool. What about you, Mike?
That is
Hey,
cool.
maybe I should have had Mike go first because now you.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta follow
What
that.
do you do, Mike? What do you bring to the table?
So, I know how to sew because, like I said before, like growing up,
Yeah.
I had to learn how to
Yeah.
sew. I learned how to sew a bunch of costumes and stuff for them. So I am she is the big imagination behind it, the concept and stuff, and then I try to bring it to life. Like I try to do a lot of the sewing and like pattern making and prop building and stuff. So that, and then I also I've been doing photography for years now.
Do you
and
share a
getting
lot of your
more-
shots on your page?
Not on my cosplay page, but I do have a photography Instagram page, which is just realm.eternal.photography. So Realm Eternal, like Asgard.
Following you as we
he's
speak.
he's done a lot of cosplay players.
Yeah.
So there's some of that on there too.
Yeah. Like actually,
Awesome. Now?
Illuminati Kitten. I did.
Yeah.
Was one of my
Yes.
cosplay shoots with her.
Oh.
Love
Yeah.
her.
So,
Love. Absolutely. I am so head over heels for her. Her energy is just so infectious and just she's sweet, she's kind. I am now following your photography page because I'm dipping my toes into that space just to get a creative outlet. So yeah, your stuff looks phenomenal, dude. Like I'm looking at it right now. You're
and then
great
I have this
utilization
like
of lighting and
absolutely
angles.
wonderful muse
I
to
mean,
inspire me more.
like, but really, but
Yeah.
I know, right?
like
oh no,
how
I don't have a model. Wait, yes I do.
I know a cosplay you guys should do. You guys
So,
should do if you haven't already. You guys should do Hercules and Meg.
So,
And so I know somebody has already mentioned that, but I was like, I don't want to shave.
Oh, he
Oh.
does
And
have
she
a-
doesn't
Oh,
want me
you
to
don't got
shave.
to.
That's bearded.
That's why
You
I don't.
don't
That's why I
have
don't
to.
do
It's weird.
Maui no more.
You don't have to. You guys
Yeah,
always
do
put your own
Viking
twist on it, so
Hercules.
you don't. That's right. That's
Or
right.
Do a
well,
Viking Hercules.
true mythology Hercules, because he was always depicted. Usually
True.
depicted with a beard.
In the
Yeah.
latest Thor film, he's bearded. So you have.
well, you know what?
It's
if we want to
it's
do
your fan art.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to do well, actually, never mind.
What?
Never.
But-
Well, I was thinking of I was trying to think of a mashup with it, but then I was like, well, that actually.
Got
I'll keep thinking.
He could always be
Um,
Meg.
mash up
Viking
God of
versions
War.
would be
Just
cool.
smash mythologies together. Just God of War and.
Thinking, well, what if we did like Norse? But then I was like, recognize it as Hercules and Meg.
Like Thor.
I think you were Thor, yeah.
Yeah, it would just be Thor.
See, go. We
Thoughts?
got those little wheels turning.
You'll
I
figure
know.
it out. If anyone could figure it out, you two can. Figure
Seriously.
Absolutely.
it out. You got this. So now we get. I want to ask y'all a little bit about the con that y'all were at this past weekend, because I know you've ran into the girls not at one con, but two cons. Let me get your thoughts really quick on Corpus, and then I can get another opinion on GalaxyCon. What did y'all think of Corpus Christi?
You go first.
Sure, I'll go first. It was fun. Honestly, I had the most fun because we were wearing Beast, which like I've been so excited to wear that for so long.
Yeah.
Oh, Corpus. Oh, sorry. No, I was thinking of Galaxy. Sorry. Corpus was a lot of fun.
Corpus was
Corpus,
so
I
much
have to go
fun.
back in time.
I know.
Yes.
Rewind a few. Like.
I think it was smaller than it was my first time going to Corpus. It was smaller than I thought it was going to be, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But there were a lot of cosplayers, so like it was smaller, but there was a lot of cosplayers there, which was cool. I mean, that's always my favorite part of a con, anyways. And we did end up buying some stuff. We found quite a few things, actually, for some stuff for my steampunk Ravenclaw. So that was fun. And we were there with family, so that was cool too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice.
How about you?
That was my second Corpus Christi to go to. The first one I went to was the very first one. And yeah, it's a smaller con, but it's still a fun con. They had a couple good names for celebrity guests there. Like
Scooby-Doo asked to take a picture with us.
Yeah.
Voice of Scooby-Doo.
like he sent one of his handlers out to
To find
bring us
you.
over
Go
to take a picture.
grab y'all.
Yeah.
That's
Yep,
cool.
and he also took a picture with, he held like the big hammer because we were Harley and Ivy that day. So yeah, it was really fun.
That is so
But
yeah, there was
cool. It's always fun
a
when
lot
the
of good
celebrities.
cosplayers there.
Yeah, it's always fun when the celebrities like treat you like a celebrity and like, go get that photo.
And you're like, you want a picture with me?
Sure,
Yeah,
I guess. No fee, no charge.
Or when they
So,
recognize
Corpus-
you like several years later from
That's always
Yes.
That is always dope. It's always cool to
Has
have those
has that happened?
experiences.
Has that happened? I'm sure it has.
It has happened to me.
You are memorable in stature
Well-
and beauty.
And the funny thing is, my very first Comic Palooza that I went to, I went there to actually get to meet pretty much every nerdy guy's probably first nerdy crush, Felicia Day.
Oh.
So I got to meet
yes!
her, and I made a mashup to meet her. Because the first time I ever saw Felicia Day was in Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog.
Yeah.
And so I did a mashup of Captain Mjolnir. So it's the Captain Hammer shirt, but instead of just a regular claw hammer, it's Mjolnir.
Yeah. I love it.
And so I got to meet Felicia Day. I nerded out, I fanboyed out. She even nerded out with me because she was like, "Oh my gosh, it's like Captain Hammer, but you look like Hammer. This is fucking awesome." And I was like, "Yes!" So I got to meet her
Felicia Day
there.
is infectious. Her interactions, I hear so
Absolutely.
many good things from people that meet her.
Yeah. So then, fast forward 3 years later, I saw her. It was either a San Antonio or an Austin con, and I know she had her line, people coming up to get autographs and stuff like that, and was walking by. I was like, "Hi, Felicia!" And I was in I might have been Thor, or I might have been Aquaman, one of those two. And she waved at me, and she was like, "Wait, you were the like Thor, and you had Thor." I was like, "Yes," and she was like, "Hi." I was like, "You remembered me."
That's cool.
That's
And then you
awesome.
cried.
Yep. Day made.
Almost.
My crush remembered me. I would have clocked out right there. My crush remembered me. I'm good.
We're getting
I would've
serious.
gone- I
She
would've gone straight
remembers
home.
me.
Exactly. I don't want to say it's official, but it's going places. What about GalaxyCon, guys? What time did y'all? Ewan, you were starting with GalaxyCon, so you can pick up from there.
Oh yeah. I was really excited to wear our Bell and Beast. But other than that, and seeing a few people that we knew, which was also really fun. There was a lot that was just really crazy about that con. Sort of left our heads in a spin and was difficult to get through. So not one of the cons, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was just a lot of things for us that was not going good.
It's true. We
Yeah.
also we had trouble getting there the first day too. We ran into some issues and everything. So we were already a little frazzled getting to the con. And then with it. Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah. So
He had a lot to say.
with that one, with GalaxyCon, for me the biggest thing that was they really need to improve on is the line went around the building. There were for nearly 3 hours before they even got in. to try to get their badge, and they waited outside when there was this whole bunch of lobby that was just not being used.
Right.
And like I know there were people who waited in line for literally 3 hours, and the only reason they stayed in line was because they had already bought like autographs, and so they just went in, had to wait in line for autographs, and then they left. They didn't do anything else at the con. They couldn't because drenched in sweat, didn't want to be walking around the con drenched in sweat and stuff like that. When like all they had to do was just open up a couple extra doors to the lobby, let people inside for a huge section of that convention center that wasn't being used.
I think they ended up doing that.
I thought they did. I thought they
on
moved
Saturday
people inside,
but like hours after it had already been open.
Yeah. Because I know like we didn't get to Austin until about like 1:30.
Yeah.
And so we had to drive around a little bit to try to find a parking lot or parking garage. And then we were walking up and we're like, wait, we drove past and the line was way on the other side of the building. Like had to walk like almost all the completely way around. I was like, damn, are we really gonna have to wait in that? And I'm in my tuxedo beast, but I was like, I don't know if I want to wait in the sun like all that.
Yeah.
So we were walking up, we heard somebody say, hey, if you already have your passes, you can just go straight up. Like, well, I'm glad we came yesterday for the 3 hours. So luckily we had our badges from the day before, but if we didn't, then that would have like
you could like bypass the line. Yeah,
and just go straight up to the front.
But the rest of it, like I liked all the panels that they had going on all looked like the guests were amazing. Like there was a lot of cool stuff at the con. I just a lot of people there were sort of like struggling to do things because of the lines. Literally. Yeah, a lot of burnout.
They did have a really like heavy hitting list of thank you, Juan. My brain is like
it's remembering the heat stroke that you almost saw.
Right. But they had so many good like voice actors, artists. I mean, it was really
it was wild in that area. It was they had a really
once you
good,
got
like,
in, it was a
artist alley.
great con.
It's the getting in that was the hard part.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I think it's because they were an out-of-state con. They underestimated how congested Austin can be. They underestimated how hot
probably the turnout
it could be in South Texas. And they did such a good job of marketing that they underestimated the amount of people that went.
Yeah.
It is very hard to throw an event, especially in a state you've never been to. So there's all kinds of challenges I'm sure they had to face. I hope they improve.
They did eventually open up more security for the line to go faster. They did end up moving the line inside, and they did take like crates of water, tons of it, like Sam's Club size, out to the people in line. So they were trying to improve the situation. At least they listened. You know, that's a positive.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool, good.
That is definitely a positive, because I even at our favorite con, the Superhero Comic Con and Car Show, that happened where people were waiting 2 hours to get in. It's just when you have 20,000 people all trying to get in a handful of doors at the same time, there's going to be some backup and congestion. So I think it was, they didn't expect it to be that
they had a great turnout.
Yeah, hopefully it happens and leads to more. I'm always a fan. Now we get to the part of the show where we decide whether or not we rescind our friend requests that we sent on Instagram.
Or block.
We block you.
Or we block.
Yeah.
I don't know. We just act like we don't know you at a con. We do this when we walk past. No.
Side eye.
I'm going to give it to Gigi for this question. This is the last question of the interview generally.
No, I mean, I know we asked y'all at Corpus at the panel.
That was our hard-hitting question.
Yes, the Girl Scout cookie question. Like,
we normally judge you on that.
Yes, and you answered on the stage. If you would like to share your answer here now, you can. This is you will have no judgment for your answers.
From us, the world.
Unless
is
they
gonna
don't match,
100%.
and then you know we were lying.
Yeah.
Right, and then I go back and have evidence. I got the receipts.
You ain't a Samoa.
I was a
So-
Samoa.
Oh.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Big
Samoa's
dude thing.
is still my choice. It's still my favorite out of all the Girl Scout cookies.
Nice.
Especially
Oh, yeah.
And Ewan, what about you? Thin Mints?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we
Yes.
got good ones. That was.
No,
Okay.
I think
Delicious
weren't
ones.
those our like in the finalists? We did a little contest on Instagram. I think those two were our
they were.
finalists. Were Thin Mints and
Oh.
Thin
They were-
Mints, so in the
Yes.
midst of champions. But now,
Okay, the
we
real
judge.
now
Now
the
it's
backup
serious.
heavy hitting question.
Okay.
What side of the bed do you sleep on? Left
right
or
or
right?
left?
now, are you taking it at the bed? Or
When you're
actually
looking
laying
at the
down
bed.
in
I always take it as
Yeah,
you're
no.
laying
We
in
always
the
go
bed.
from laying in the bed.
You're laying in the bed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on the right side.
I'm on the left side, but then she travels over to the right. To the,
She kind
my
of goes into the
side.
middle.
She's
Yeah.
both. She's both.
Because she's always cold and I always run hot, so if she gets cold until I've got
You're
like this
describing-
much of the
you're
bed.
describing-
Totally
Does
understand
she
that.
shove her cold feet underneath you when you're warm?
Oh
Does she do
yeah,
that?
I welcome it
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's like an AC cooling blanket. Like those cold feet just hit the spot, and you're just like, thawing out.
The only times
I love
when
it.
we don't cuddle up is when she decides that she needs to be right in between us.
Oh,
So
It's
then
her bed.
we're
priority.
yeah.
That's your
and that's
child.
usually during the winter when everything's cold and she just
Yeah.
sandwiches in between.
Oh. Man,
That's
she has
awesome.
been in this interview the entire time. I love her.
Yes, and calm
Oh yeah,
too.
she
So
she
chill.
is great out at events. Like, well,
Look
she
at that,
was right,
baby.
like her very first event out was a South by Southwest in
Rose.
Austin.
Wow.
like about-
Nice, that's a good one.
Oh.
And she was like this the entire time, and whenever she gets done, she will take her head and poke it into like the nook of my elbow. And that's when she's
That's
done.
enough. That's enough for
Yeah.
today.
What a good
I'm
baby.
leaving now. Turn the lights out. No, that's awesome. So, right and left, what did they mean, Gigi? I remember, I think left was the creative.
Yeah, left was the creative and right was the one that like what was it? Like they carried the burden of like financial stress more or something.
Yeah.
We got this all
The stress
backwards.
of it.
I guess we
Yeah,
better
that's, I
switch
did
it.
the same thing. Same thing. My wife and I were the same way. Like the order was back and backwards. So I'm thinking this test is broken. That's just me.
Funny.
Or maybe because Mercury is
Someone made that up.
retroing.
Yeah, I think
Using
it's because
Gatorade.
it's when you're looking at the bed, what side of the bed do you sleep on?
That could be it too. We
Must-
could be looking
that
at it
must
from the
be
wrong
it.
perspective. That's what it is. From now on, it's
think it's
looking
more-
at the bed.
You have the bed in your room because if it was
Where the
the other way
door-
around, we'd be She's nearest to the bathroom. I'm closest to the actual door leading to the bedroom.
It's so funny you say that, Mike, because we just moved and now I'm a left side sleeper. I was a right side sleeper. Now that we moved, bed position obviously changed. I am now a left side sleeper. But my
Because
personality
you're on the
didn't
side by
change,
the
so-
door.
Yeah.
My husband
Now-
also sleeps closest to the door.
I'm actually at the side by the window because my wife hates mornings and I block the sun because I'm so big.
There we go.
That is me. That's me.
just
I'm
shoves her
close to
face
the door because
right
I don't
in
want to
me.
be by the window.
Yeah, because we don't have blinds. The house didn't come with blinds on the back rooms, so I get all that. I love mornings. I'm an early morning person, so it works out. Opposites, we fill each other's
Interesting.
gaps. Yeah,
Yep.
It's
true. Yeah, it's
been working for
especially good
21
for
years,
cosplays,
so
too.
it is. Y'all
Like,
kill the
I think,
cosplays.
like, we're both really creative, but in different
Mhm.
ways. Like
Yes.
I like coming up with concepts and sort of dreaming things up, but heaven help me if I have to actually put the pieces together. Because I mean, we've kind of learned that I just don't understand basic shapes, I guess. Because he was trying to teach me how to make a pattern, and we were making pants, and he cuts it out, and I'm like, that doesn't look like pants, and he's like, well, so pants together, and I'm
Are
like,
you sure?
And she's like, how does that curve make a straight line?
Yeah,
and so
it
finally
makes
like
no
pins
sense.
it. Look, and I'm like, oh, what do you know? It's pants. Chippy back.
Who would have thought? Not me.
Hey, like,
I know
that's
it's
crazy.
magic.
It's witchcraft.
So, but like I'm learning. He's a very patient teacher, but he's very creative. Like he makes his own patterns. Like most of the time we're not working with a pattern. He just knows
That's
his
nuts.
shapes and his seams, and he's like, "Oh, I can do this." Especially
Oh,
with
okay.
his
So
props.
he's just looking into
like,
the matrix, geometry brain, and he's just like, oh yeah, that's a couple
He just
triangles.
that's when he breaks it down and then puts it back together, and I'm like,
And I mean, I can start with like a regular pattern, and then I know, okay, well, I gotta adjust here, I gotta adjust here, I gotta adjust here, because I'm an odd size, and most patterns don't even fit me,
Right.
even other, and stuff like that. Because I have a
I can
Dorito
relate.
torso.
I can relate. Dorito torso. That's because you yoked. You're just big. That's all. They don't make it like that because we big.
Oh.
That's all it is.
yep.
Wide back, baby.
And then just knowing like even what shapes will fit and like where things need to come in and
But my favorite part is like the painting
Oh, yeah.
and like the gluing the final touches on and like all that kind of stuff.
The like detail
I like the
stuff.
topical detail
Yeah.
stuff. Yes.
That's what I like.
Making it
doing.
look like what you saw in your brain, the final vision.
Yeah.
Yes. I just have to have the shapes
So-
together first.
Once he gets the geometry, you put the coat of paint on it, and we're all done. Just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Speaking of all done, tell the people where to find y'all. Drop the handles, what social media y'all are on. How do we find y'all? When are we going to start getting singing videos? Answer all those questions, please.
Well, I'm Ewyn.cosplay, so EWYN.cosplay on Instagram, and then she has an Instagram too. What's Grayabelle, right?
yeah.
Grayabelle on Instagram. So, and then go ahead.
And then my cosplay page is ATX Thor, because I used to live in Austin and I look like Thor. My photography page is Photography. There you see different my photography stuff, and then also my muse and her modeling. And she didn't mention her modeling page is EWYN.modeling.
Yeah.
So
the same thing.
Yeah, so the same thing as cosplay, just with cosplay or modeling, but
It's brand continuity, baby. Good stuff.
Yes.
I
And then
love
we
it.
have our top page is Nerd Trap cosplay.
Which is
Nerd Trap
amazing.
dot
It's so fun. If you are not following y'all on TikTok, it is so fun. It brightens my day every single time y'all come across my For You page. It makes me so happy.
and we probably have like I think the last count I looked at, I think we have like 64 drafts. So we have that many videos like on
Yes!
deck.
Yes!
Hopefully 65 with a singing Ewyn at 65. We're going to peer pressure you into it.
Drop that album.
100%. Drop that mixtape. Well, guys, be sure to follow Ewyncosplay, ATX Thor, Nerd Trap on TikTok. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you guys for watching and listening and wherever you
Thanks for having
consumed it. Thank y'all for being guests, guys. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye.
Peace.
Stop! Y'all are so cute. Oh, my
There we
cheeks.